You might think of werewolf stories as something only told for fun around the campfire, but that hasn't always been the case. Historically, many slayings, crimes, and generally horrific incidents have been attributed to werewolves. People truly believed in the existence of these creatures. In fact, in the 16th and 17th centuries in Europe, werewolf trials accompanied witch trials, and sometimes they were even one and the same. It's even more surprising to note the number of people who confessed to being werewolves or lycanthropes. Some were likely tortured into confession, but others believed themselves to be real werewolves. The idea that someone could transform into an animal was a popular one, and people thought they could make a deal with the devil in order to obtain that power. Is there any truth behind the enduring legend of the werewolf? Or were these creatures just convenient scapegoats for mysterious misdeeds? You decide. Number 5. The French Connection. In the 1500s, a French tailor was convicted of luring, torturing, and slaying his victims before cooking and eating them for supper. He was also accused of turning into a werewolf to terrorize the town by night. Although there was no exact victim count, he was believed to have slain dozens. As the story goes, the tailor made no attempt to defend himself. Instead, he cursed until his last breath when he was burned at the stake. The court was apparently so shocked by his evil acts that the court documents were burned as well. Number 4. A Devil's Bargain. Peter Stubb was one of many self-confessed werewolves. In 1589, he claimed that his wolfskin pelt allowed him to transform, and he also said he had slain over a dozen victims. As one story went, the devil transformed him into the likeness of a greedy, devouring wolf, strong and mighty with eyes great and large, which in the night sparkled like unto brands of fire, a mouth great and wide with most sharp and cruel teeth, a huge body, and mighty paws. Stubb's tale should be taken with a large grain of salt. He confessed after prolonged torture. He was ultimately decapitated on Halloween 1589, and his body was burned at the stake. Number 3. The Werewolf of Dole. The French seemed to be obsessed with werewolves, and one of their most famous cases was the Werewolf of Dole. Giles Garnier was a hermit who lived out on the outskirts of his town with his wife. When children in the town started to go missing and turned up mutilated, the townspeople set off on a wolf hunt. They eventually decided Garnier was to blame. He confessed to being given an ointment by a demon that allowed him to turn into a wolf, and said he had slain and eaten at least 4 children. He was burned at the stake. Number 2. An American Tale. One chilling American werewolf legend comes from Georgia. As the story goes, the widowed Mildred Burt lived in a rural part of the county in the mid-19th century. One of her daughters, Emily Isabella Burt, had trouble sleeping at night, and she had extra hair and sharp teeth. When a local man, William Gorman, told the Burts that someone had been killing his sheep, Mrs. Burt feared that Emily had something to do with the attacks. When Mrs. Burt went out to investigate one night, an animal lunged at her. Mrs. Burt fired at it, but the animal escaped. The next day, Emily was missing her left hand. She was sent away to Paris to be treated for lycanthropy, and the attack stopped. She passed away in 1911. Number 1. Origins. Beliefs differ on what exactly turned someone into a werewolf. In ancient Greece, apparently people believed that someone could be transformed by eating the meat of a wolf and a human mixed together. This story is similar to the tale of King Lycaon. He attempted to trick the god Zeus into eating human flesh. Zeus wasn't pleased and turned Lycaon into a wolf as punishment. His name is likely the root of the word lycanthropy. So what do you make of these werewolf legends? Do werewolves really walk the earth, or are they simply tall tales and figments?